In Australian property management, it often feels like there's this invisible ceiling to growth that every agency eventually hits. But what if you could just smash right through it? We're not talking about a few new automations here and there. We're talking about a complete shift in how you operate, all driven by AI, letting you scale smarter, not just bigger.
But first, let's just get real for a second. Let's start with a feeling every single property manager knows way too well. That feeling of being completely buried. Some days it feels less like you're managing a portfolio and more like you're just managing pure, relentless chaos.
And look, this chaos, it's not just in your head. It's actually a symptom of a really big business problem. As you add more properties to your books, the workload doesn't just grow, it kind of compounds. And this, right here, is what we call the scaling trap. To get specific, it's the linear scaling trap. It's this frustrating cycle where the only way to manage more properties is to hire more people. Sure, your revenue goes up, which is great, but your costs shoot right up alongside it. And your profit margins, they just stay stubbornly flat. And get this. Here's the data that really shines a light on that chaos. One analysis found that a staggering 65% of a property manager's day is spent on answering the same handful of questions over and over and over again. Think about that. That is not high-value work. It's just a recipe for high-volume burnout. Okay, so how do you actually break this cycle? Well, smart Aussie agencies are already doing it. And it's not about replacing people. It's about giving them superpowers with AI-assisted workflows. What this really means is using AI to just absorb all that high-volume, low-complexity stuff. Imagine a world where 70 to 80% of routine tenant emails are just handled, where maintenance requests are intelligently sorted automatically. This frees up your human team to focus on the stuff that actually matters, the high-touch, high-value work. And the results? Well, they're pretty much immediate. Agencies using these tools are slashing their communication time by up to half. And they're seeing a huge drop, up to 40%, in that painful rework that comes from disputes. That's a massive win for efficiency and for reducing risk. Okay, so saving time is fantastic. We all want more of that. But let's talk about what really matters, the bottom line. What does all this efficiency actually do for the business? Well, for starters, your team can suddenly manage 30 to 40% more properties per person. You're finally breaking free from that linear scaling trap. You're growing the portfolio without having to grow your headcount at that same painful rate. And that leads to some serious direct savings. We're not talking hypotheticals here. One real-world case study of a 275-unit portfolio found they saved over $88,000 in a single year just by optimizing their operations with AI. And it's not just about cutting costs either. This is about boosting your revenue. Because when you respond to rental inquiries faster and more consistently, you fill vacancies faster. We're seeing leasing conversion rates jump by 23%. That's real money, real fast. But we have to pause here, because this incredible new efficiency for property managers, well, it's not the whole story. With this new power comes a new set of responsibilities and some very real risks for renters that we absolutely have to talk about. And just listen to this. Research from the University of Sydney, led by Dr. Sophia Malson, points out a huge concern. When an AI makes a screening decision, that lack of transparency can leave renters completely powerless to challenge a mistake that might unfairly lock them out of a home. This whole problem creates what experts are calling the black box effect. An application goes in, a yes or no decision comes out, but the process in the middle, how the AI made that choice, is a complete mystery. And that makes it incredibly difficult to spot potential bias. So here's the unavoidable truth. Efficiency can never come at the cost of fairness. There are serious conversations to be had about data privacy, about algorithms accidentally making existing inequalities worse, and about the fact that many of these tech companies aren't even covered by Australia's Privacy Act. So where does all this leave the property manager of the future? Is your job on the line? Absolutely not, but it is evolving. It's about working smarter, not harder. This right here is the new partnership. Let the AI handle the sheer volume and speed. Let it do the first drafts and process all the data. That frees up the human, you, to provide the strategy, the judgment, the empathy, and the complex problem solving that technology will never be able to replicate. The goal isn't to remove the human, it's to elevate them. Which really, it all boils down to this one critical question. The conversation isn't about if AI is going to change your job. It's about what you're going to do with all the time and mental energy it gives back to you. How are you going to use it? Look, the AI revolution in Australian property management isn't on its way. It's already here, and this whole explainer was inspired by the incredible work being done by Sunburnt AI. The agencies that learn how to use these tools thoughtfully, balancing that powerful efficiency with fairness, they're the ones who are not only going to scale smarter, but they're the ones who will define the future of this entire industry.